guys, Ariel with Arielpaints. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this really simple and fun pretty snowflake butterfly. This is one that you guys did vote for. I put a bunch of different butterflies up for the holidays on a Sally Ann Lynch board like I do often, and you guys overwhelmingly chose this one, which I was really happy about because I personally really liked it. I know it's a little derivative, you know, a snowflake butterfly has been done, but I hadn't done one, so I was happy you guys voted for it. I was also happy you voted for it because I got a chance to use one of my new stencils, which I haven't used in a video yet, and I've really been liking these, so I wanted to show them to you anyway, so it kind of is perfect for me that you voted for this. I really like this stencil because of this particular snowflake is really, really unique. The shape is unique. It's not like anything that I have in my kit. And then I really like the configuration of these. You'll see in this video later on that I use the arrangement of these snowflakes as kind of a crown. They're just placed really nicely so that it's easy to use them at the top of the forehead, corner of the eye. They just make a lot of sense. So I'm really liking this particular stencil. The other stencils I got from are this rose stencil, which is really unique. I don't have anything like this, and I've done a design where I did a dauber with a one stroke and then did the stenciled black roses over it, and it looked really cool, so I'm excited about that one. Also love a dense stencil like this that's just pattern. This is great for teenagers when they tell me to just do something pretty and I always freeze. I love these stencils. They save me, so I was really drawn to this one. You know, use this with a rainbow cake for an eye design and it's immediate impact, so really excited about that one. And then this one. Who doesn't love a unicorn? This is really, really cute. I've done a few different designs with this as well. So if you guys want to see me use any of these stencils further, then please let me know. Comment down below. Happy to show you what I've come up with for this little unicorn too. If you struggle with unicorns, I think this is a really, really great, easy way to do your unicorns also. I'll leave a link down below to their Facebook or website for stencils so that if you guys are interested, you can go check them out. Not a sponsored video. They're not paying me to say this or anything like that. So go check them out if you would like to see them. And if you want to see how I got this very snowy, sparkly butterfly look, then keep watching and I will show you guys how I did it. Thanks. I'm going to start by spraying my split cake, and you can see that it is wet but not dripping, and I'm going to load up my sponge. Now when I apply my butterfly, I am going to bend my sponge into a bit of an arc, and that way I get a nicer shape to the butterfly and I don't get a straight edge from the sponge. You're also going to notice that when I do this, I apply the different colors at different times. So I'll start by pressing the corner in where that creamy soft white is, and then I rotate and I push down to get the blue. You're not going to get all the colors down at once. That's okay. You want to think of rotating and pivoting your sponge back and forth and applying the color at different times. You'll also notice that I'm doing this in a bit of a segment. So there's a top segment and a bottom segment. It is not just one perfect straight line. So I think it helps me when I sponge on. I think about doing it in two separate parts, the top part of the wing and the bottom part of the wing on the top part of the eye. So you can see I'm pressing in the corner and then I'm pivoting and rotating that sponge back to do the dark blue and vice versa until you get about the same shape on both sides. Now don't be too kooky about this because you're going to fix it all with line work, so just get it approximate. For the bottom wing, I am pinching the sponge together to create a smaller surface area and then doing the same thing. Rotating that light white. It's really kind of a shimmer white, which is really, really pretty. So rotating that into the inside corner of my eye and then rotating the back part of my sponge with the dark blue down and creating a bit of a triangle shape, but pinching it is going to make that shape smaller and help me not go too big with my butterfly, which we all do sometimes. I personally aesthetically like them when they're closer and tighter to the eye, so I try to pinch it and manipulate my sponge so that it's not too big. So at this point, you want to stop, take a look, make sure both sides of the face and butterfly are relatively even, but they do not have to be perfect because we're going to clean it all up with our one stroke and with our line work. I'm also not going to worry about edges like this because I'm going to go over them. I never, ever, ever clean those up at a job. I just fix it later with the work that I'm going to do over the butterfly. If you're doing pictures for editorial reasons and it has to be perfect, great, do that. But we're talking fast festival work, birthday designs. We don't have time to clean that stuff up, so I'm going to show you how to hide it instead. So now I'm taking my favorite glitter, which is a Mama Clown glitter and a smoothie blender, and I'm going to just pat this on the inside corner of my eyes so this is nice and shiny and bright for our butterfly. This is also the glitter I use in my spritzers. I'll link it below. It is lovely. So nice and shiny. I also want to stop and tell you guys the cakes I'm using. Antarctica is the larger blue cake, and I use that for all sorts of things, Batman, you name it. And then Iceland is the one stroke, and it is gorgeous, and I am in love with it. As you watch me do the edging or line work with this one stroke called Iceland, I think you'll see why. It is beautiful, and the combination of these two together, I was very, very pleased with. Now I'm going to slow it down a little bit because I think this is really subtle, but I want to make sure you guys see what I just did there. This side of my face, the butterfly wing started just a little bit lower than the other side. So I just slightly started my one stroke above where my sponge had actually gone so that I'm correcting it. So even though my base is not perfect, I'm correcting it with this edging that I'm doing with the one stroke. It's how you can be faster on the job and get away with not being perfect. You can still see some of my sponge work coming through underneath that one stroke. It does not matter. No one's going to notice. Everything else you're doing is going to be a distracting impact for the design. So having a little bit of blue pop out from the sponge work, do not worry about it, especially on the job. You can see I'm just using my finger to blend in a little bit. And then I'm pulling some strokes down. All of my strokes, the toe of my brush goes to the same focal point, which is to the inside corner of the eye or bridge of the nose. This is when I started falling in love with this design, by the way. I love these two blues together. I just thought it was gorgeous, so I hope you guys like it too. I would now definitely do this butterfly in this combination without any snowflakes, glitter, anything, because I just thought it was so striking, especially when I got to watch it later on camera. I was really excited. So I'm just pulling really simple strokes down. I just want a nice feathered, really full, kind of fluffy butterfly. And this is when my daughter kind of starts to snuggle with me and stuff too. And she wanted a kiss. She was supposed to be in bed and actually snuck out of bed and came all the way downstairs to my studio and wanted to say hi to you guys. So there she is. Say hi, Billy. And then I made her go back to bed because she was being naughty. I wanted there to be a bit more of a turquoise element, but not overwhelming. So I am going to add a few strokes of turquoise. I decided to pull it just a little bit above that first line so that it wasn't too contrived and perfect. And I'm using for this gorgeous Diamond Effects rainbow cake called Dragonfly, and I'm just picking up the two darker turquoises from it because they were just the perfect color of what I had in my head. So I'm grabbing those, and you'll see I'm just doing a little bit of a sweep down on the bottom wing as well to pull that turquoise in. And now my new favorite Snowflake Stencil, the Ooze Stencil. See how nice that is? That shape is just perfect. So I would normally do like double dipped flowers right here. So I love the way that they have configured this stencil. And I'm taking, oh look, my daughter's hand. How funny. I had no idea she did that. That little stinker. She was in so much trouble that night. Anyway, so I have a sponge here with turquoise on one side, white on the other, and I'm going to try to give my snowflakes a bit of an ombre look by doing the turquoise first and then tapping on a little bit of white. I have a cake with just the tiniest bit of white that I'm pulling from, so it was really hard to get a nice bright white on my sponge, but regardless, I'm just bouncing back and forth from the turquoise to the white and just putting a highlight of white on to those snowflakes, and it just gives it a nice little ombre. So instead of being one color, I have a multicolored snowflake. Really easy to do. So I'm also going to do snowflakes throughout the butterfly as well. I really, really like the shape of the snowflake in the stencil that I'm using now, which is kind of in the middle. And the little tiny ones next to it just add a lot of interest really quickly. Really liking it. Now, because I had such a small amount of white that I was picking up with my sponge for my wet paint, I did end up just grabbing my StarBlends and using StarBlends to get a brighter white. If you guys have seen some of my other videos, I love doing this. Look how bright that is. So bright compared to the other side that I just used the water activated paint with. And that does not mean you can't get good coverage with water activated paint. You can, but you have to get just the perfect consistency. And I was being lazy, and I just think it's so much easier to use my StarBlends. So I went ahead and did a snowflake on the corner of the eye connecting the two butterfly wings as well. And now I've just grabbed a small round brush. My favorite brushes are the low Cornell brushes. This one's probably I'm gonna guess size 4, and I'm just gonna do some teardrops underneath that center snowflake in the center of my forehead. And then I'm just going to do some teardrops at the top as well. I didn't want to do anything too crazy at the top. Looking back at the design, I kind of wish I would have done a little bit of a curl going inward, like more butterfly antennas. But this is fine. It's pretty simple. And of course, you guys know as you do this, do it however you want, whatever makes you happy. Now I'm just going to add some white dots and not really very many highlights because I really don't want to highlight anything. I want the blue to stand out. I'm going to throw just a few clusters of dots in, make sure everything looks nice and balanced. This is a pretty busy design because it's pretty tight, and the butterfly wings itself are pretty packed with dots and with color and with snowflakes, but it's not complicated. Couple starbursts, and I'm about done with the white. So now I'm going to grab my global liquid bling, and this is the silver, and I'm really just going to outline. I'm not really tracing over it. I'm going just outside where that dark blue of the one stroke landed, and I'm just tracing around it. Liquid bling is great for designs like this because it adds that extra layer of sparkle, and it really adds dimension because it's kind of like puffy paint. It actually adds dimension. So absolutely love it. I'm going to do the same to the other side, and you can think of this really as drawing while applying steady pressure because you're going to be squeezing this liquid out of the tube. You want to squeeze it very, very gently. If at any time when you're squeezing it, like right here, it stops and I'm not getting even pressure, or I feel like it's about to poof and might squirt all over my design, stop. Give the bottle a shake. Put it down on your hand and put some pressure on it until you start getting a steady flow again. As long as you have a nice steady flow, then keep going. But if at any point you feel like it is kind of pulling or it's not coming out as easily, then I caution you, because if you squeeze really hard, you're just gonna squirt it all over your design. So be careful, and then do shake it a lot. I do that just to get it down. So you want the same amount of very, very even pressure. And if you go to put that even pressure on it and you don't get a nice perfect little dot just like that, then shake it or kind of squeeze it out on a towel or a wet wipe or your hand or something until it starts flowing nicely again. So I'm just putting little sparkly dots all over this because I want this to be a shiny, shiny, snowflakey, lovely butterfly. So I am not being shy at all. I did the entire outline of the design with it. The gold of this I have as well, and it's gorgeous for butterflies. And then lots of little dots. And then I also just have some stick-on bling. I'm going to go ahead and throw a gemstone in the center. And sorry, my camera started to go out of focus a little bit there. in the center of my snowflake, and my nails are like way too long for this. It was so hard for me to place these. So need to cut those before my gig this weekend. And if you have one of those little like sticky daubers to do gems, which I have one somewhere, of course, but I couldn't be bothered to go find it. But if you have one of those, or if you don't and you stick on individual gems like this, those are brilliant. Way easier than doing what I'm doing, like really carefully trying to stick it on and apply pressure with a fingernail. But I'm just randomly adding those throughout the design. I just want that extra sparkly, magical look, and a few gems goes a very, very long way. Now for the final touch, I'm going to add this melted matte turquoise metallic lipstick, which I thought would be really, really perfect for this look. And I'm going to throw some Mama Clown glitter right on top of it to create a very sparkly glitter lip. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun painting it. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, but also go follow me on Facebook. I post all sorts of different stuff on my Arielpaints page, other art that I do, things like podcast recommendations. If you haven't already listened to a podcast called This Is Love, go listen to episode 10. It's all about the color blue, and I thought of it the entire time I was editing this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video.